Hello and welcome this very nice evening to Aero League Racing, the F1 competition. We're now into season 18, round 5, the halfway point of the season for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which always takes place on the Jeddah Corniche circuit, one of the fastest street circuits on the calendar. And it will be exciting to see who will take the win this one. So far in the championship, Ferrari has a commanding lead because of the hard work Font has put in together with Ben later through the season. They have a 27-point gap to this team in second, which is Williams. Helenen has a win and has finished in the points for all 4 races. Sadly, Trucco only has a 7th place to his name, so he will be hoping to turn that around on Jeddah. Haas is being 10 points behind Williams, with a nice podium from Epmo last race in Spain, propelling them ahead of their rivals, which is McLaren with Arctic Squirrel and Techi Boom being really consistent with 42 points, and then again 1 point behind them because of the win in America. Cassell and Charles Presimu have solidified themselves in the midfield battle. Along them in that is Red Bull with Depop and Janica. Nothing too big. They only have 3 points finishers, but those point finishers are enough to secure 37 points for the Red Bull team. Luke Beus and Bundes from Mercedes have the same team. The only difference is that instead of a 3rd place that Janica had, Luke Beus has a 4th place. That's the only difference between the 2 teams, and the point difference in that case is only 3 points. Then we have Sauber, which is mostly being carried by Sabi GB. He has scored 31 points, and the 1 point from Mighty Chump brings them up to 32. Then we have quite a big gap to not even the back markers of the season. I shouldn't say that, because they are basically one-man teams. You have Aston Martin being driven by Chris, who got disqualified last race, sadly, and thus only has 8 points, and Alpine has AJ driving with only 5 points. But everything can happen on Jeddah. So we'll hope that everything goes to plan for every driver. But with the way the Jeddah works, we will see probably a few safety cars. Now, as mentioned, Fontenau and Helenen have been scrapping around for wins all around the season. Cassell actually took a win in one of the races. Outside of those 3, no one has won. Fontenau is the only double winner we have. Any other big mentions to name is Sabi, who got 2 fastest laps out of the races. The other fastest lap went to Naked Champ in Suzuka and Cassell in Las Vegas. And obviously, Chris wants to make up for the disqualification he had, and Trucco, Bundes will want to make sure they don't DNF again, as they both have 2 DNFs out of the 2 races. Now, so far we're done about the standings. In my predictions, and I need to get the availability so I can see who drives when. Yeah, my predictions, and this is a hot one, is that Sabi GP is going to win this race. Sabi is going to get followed by Fontanau and followed by Helen. That's my top three. Now, again, it is Jeddah, it's fast, it's tight, it's one of those circuits that one wrong move and you're not off track, you're in the wall, it's over. And that's what makes Jeddah a fun circuit to drive. The only problem is that there is not really good room to fight with each other side by side as Fontenau now joins. So it will be interesting to see how these drivers will tackle the difficulties of having to fight around walls. I'm sure they can do it, but you never know what happens in racing. Now is... I want to say Ferrari is the only one with two drivers in, but now Red Bull as well. I hope we get more people than this in the lobby. It will be nice to have multiple cars fighting each other, or multiple teams fighting each other instead of one of every team. But yeah, after this, we're done with halfway through the season. And it will be interesting to see how the standings will line up after that. And it will give the team some insight to talk over with each other over the, well, not the summer break, let's call it the autumn break. Actually coincides with the break in the Netherlands, so that's just a coincidence. Oh no, there is no break, never mind. I'm used to there being a break, but we don't do that this season. As the first of the McLarens now hops in, Arctic, really consistent driver, will be good to see if he can drag another 4th place finish in, or if he can break into the podium positions, which will be really nice if he can do it. We already know that Tichy Boom is going to run late, so Arctic will have to carry McLaren for himself, at least the first part. I'll actually hop into the chats real quick to see, because I should have been doing that already, but it's been a while. There we are. And yeah, let's see, we have 10 now. Yeah, there's 10 now, so we can start if we really want. But obviously you want more people than this if you want a really fun fighting around Jeddah. But even if there is a lack of cars, it will still be a challenging drive with very fast corners combined with well, it being a night race, cold temperatures. So if you can't get your tires up to temperature, you will suffer for it. And you might lose the grip and crash into a wall, which is not what you want. as we are just waiting on the sign from Helena. It will take another couple of minutes, but I've already said what I wanted to say about the track, about the championship standings. I will still stand with my prediction of Sabi Font Helena. I have never seen Smith race, so I'll be interested to see what they can do. Ben is obviously quite a new one. Only joined after Canada, I think. Yeah, that must have been, because that's the race I dropped out. Anyone else I want to look out for? Yeah, Sabi, obviously, and I want to see if Shesh can bring Aston Martin some well-needed points. Because, again, they only have 8 points at the moment. So if they want to turn that around, they really need some good points here. And we can, I hope that the new driver of Shesh will be able to bring it back up. I think that's one of the reserves. Let me actually check that. Oh yeah, and Shesh is also a reserve. Whoops. So yeah, the points won't go to the team, but if they can both scrap some points in, it will mean that they will move up into standings. It also means that they will surpass me, so that's also nice for them. As we're getting close to race start time. I've really run out of things to say. Let's just hope we won't have to wait too much for the action to go down. Down at the track. Yes, let's see, who are we waiting on? We have 13 people. 14 if we count Techi, who will come later during the session. Helena is typing in the chat, so there will be the message of ready up, or it will be a delayed message. And he stopped typing. Gives me time to check the availability post. So we are waiting. We have both Rebels. Yes, we have Bundes in the Mercedes. We're waiting on Bundes. We're waiting on Techi, but we already spoke about the situation. We have Helena. Shiz is apparently a full-time driver now for Aston, so the points will go to Aston. Max has been promoted to Alpine, so the points will go to Alpine, so there are no reserves in the race. We have Atmo and Nas. Yes, we have. Mighty. We're waiting on Cassel. Oh, and Luke also can make it. So we're only waiting on Cassel and Bundes, as we just got the call to ready up. As I can hear the very fun and obviously not obnoxious at all timer go off. As we're just waiting on everyone's connection. But just to reiterate, Ferrari has a big lead in the constructors, Font has a big lead in the drivers. But the mid-back field is really, really close. So that's what we are going to focus on today. Obviously also on fights for the lead, but Red Bull, Haas, Williams, that side of the garage is what we will focus on. As here we are at the pit garage of Sauber, as we wait for everyone to come out. Everyone is, of course, going to load setups. In terms of weather, I'll be really surprised if it rains, as I think there is activity in Mighty Chump, but it's a Red Bull who goes first. It's Janica who goes first out. Is it not letting me change camera type? Oh no, there we go. He's been immediately followed by a Ferrari, and I think that's Ben? It is Ben. Depop is also going out, Sabi is out, Mighty is out, Christ is out. Helenen just exited the pits. And Ben may want to take a little bit of space. Obviously, for the first lap, we are going to stick on board with Janica. Or with Ben, if Ben overtakes him. I honestly, yeah, Ben is backing off. He is doing the smart thing. But like I said, what you really can see is everyone, or at least Janica, really trying to get the tires up to temperature. Because it's a night race, it's not cool temperatures because we're still middle of the desert. But the temperatures will not be optimal for the tires. And especially if you have low grip into turn 1, it really won't help, as we can see him crossing the line now. Ben behind him as well, that's Chump all behind them. Turns 1, 2, heavy chicane, really hard to get right. Let me actually get the track map. There we go. Very fast, windy section. Look out here. If you clip the inside curb, you can get stuck on it. And it's obviously a perfect spot for invalidations. As Janica sets the fastest sector 1, but they are the first ones to come through, so not surprising. Everyone except Schismans in the Aston Martin is out on track. Almost everyone is on there flying. As we have a yellow flag, and that's one of the rebels. That had to be T-Pop then. He has ruined a lap. As Janica is in the final sector. Long DRS zone ahead. Opens it nice and early. It may be the design of the Red Bull, but don't tell me those are hearts. No, it's the design of the Red Bull. As Janica sets a 1:28.8, and that is a pretty good lap. As Sabi and Ben got really close to each other there. I think Ben is immediately going for another lap. Who's next? That's looks like Helenen is next. Comes across the line, and that's a 1:29.1. Then we have a Rebel of T-Pop. Then we have, I think that's Max. Max goes P4, really nice. Then we have Mighty. Mighty goes to P6. And we have Epmo in P6 now. Pushes Mighty Jump down by almost a second. Next one is a McLaren that has to be Arctic Squirrel. He went fastest in Sector 2. We know Arctic has quite some pace. So it will be interesting to see how this one goes. He's been followed by AJ and then a bit of a gap to Font. But we'll focus on them when we get to this yellow flag. Looks like Ben, I don't know. Arctic goes across the line. That's P6. AJ goes P8. Font now championship leader. I think he has front wing damage. He does miss an end plate and he only goes 8th. He must have hit a wall somewhere because that's not what you expect. Now did Ben cut off? Yeah, he cut off his lap. So after Ben we have Sabi and then we have, is that Janica? That's Janica. Then we have Helenen going into the pits. Then we have Chris. Helenen isn't going into the pits. Helenen is going for another push lap immediately after. As I think, is he? No, he's just pulling into the pit lane. Epmo is pulling into the pit lane. Then we have Mighty Jump pulling into the pit lane. Shiz is just finishing his outlap. Then we have Arctic again. AJ. I don't know what AJ is going to do. If AJ is either going to box or if AJ is going to immediately go for another lap. Well, it's clear the McLaren has run out of fuel, so Smash. Oh no, Smash. Oh, that's a terrible place to lose it. And he has lost it, so that's not optimal for him. As it looks like that Sapi is going out again. Depop is now starting his lap. As Helenen is finishing it. And Helenen is now in the pit lane. Sabi is out of the pit lane. What was Chris doing? Probably creating a bit of a gap between himself and Sabi. Not the best way to do it, blocking the pit exit, but he was free to do that, I think. But the one we should focus on is T-Pop. His teammate is still leading in this qualifying session, so he has a name to live up to. But this is what I mean. It's fast, it's flowing, and there is no room for error here in Saudi Arabia. So, as he does go faster than his teammates, and he does go faster than, I think, Arctic, that's at the previous fastest second sector. But one sector doesn't say anything. It doesn't tell the full story. As he comes through the final corner, accelerates, opens the DRS. Why is the... Did I miss the DRS line? Yeah, I missed that. He goes 4th, which is not a bad time. And that's... Sabi. Yes, might as well follow Sabi. Because Sabi is the next one on a lap. Which will be interesting to see, as there will be some traffic for him to deal with just coming out of the pit lane. as this is quite an offset. There are people who just start in the lap, one person who has ended it, one person who is in the wall. I think that's Ben in the wall now. I don't know if he has damage or not. Doesn't look like it. So we switch back to Sabi, who is still second. Fastest sector 1, so that's something for him. We already know Sabi is fast, and this is just proving it. Just the fearless slamming the car into a corner and hoping it would work. It is a good strategy if you ask me, but then again, I only drove 2 corners this season. Fastest sector as well, and yeah, it's clear that Sabi is on a mission to grab this pole and secure himself pole position for the race here. So we see the Red Bull going into pit lane. Sabi finishes the lap and the time is a 1:28.2. He slammed the lap by a lot. So that's a good job from him. Next up we have Font. No, that was Ben. Then we have Haas. Abmo. Abmo is going faster than he went, but not fast enough. Then we have Mighty Jump coming across the line. Enough for P9, that's not a bad lap. Arctic is on a out lap. Then we have Janica. Janica is going faster than the previous lap, but it's not fast enough to beat Sabi. At least in sector 2. Did I just say that Font now left the session? So Font's internet is fucking with him again. That's really unfortunate for someone who's so fast and leading the championship. But he can afford to lose a round. Who can't is Helenen, who is on an outlap, and him seeing that Font disconnected is like music to his ears. Is Ben actually still on a lap? Ben is on a lap. He is a second faster in sector 2. So he really had something to gain there. As he rounds the final corner, yellow flag, that's just Sabi led in Arctic by. You could call that cutting the pit line. But in any case, Ben jumps up to 10th. Ahead of Fonter now, but I don't know if that lap will be allowed to stick, as we have Emmo now in pit exit entry. He's been followed by Arctic, who will finish this lap, I assume. It just looks slow when they come out of the corner, really pressing the track limits, jumps to P5. Not a bad lap, not a bad lap at all. Then we have not Sabi, Mighty jumping into the pit lane. Max is finishing his lap. He's he's not faster or slightly faster on his lap. Then we have T-Pop on an outlap as his teammate is just entering the pit lane. Then we have one of the Alpines, that has to be AJ. AJ's entering the pit lane. Then we have Helenen at the end of his lap. Helenen is being fast. Is it fast enough? Not to improve on his position, but he does improve on his time and has the fastest third sector. Ben is coming through the final corner. I'm going to check if Font needs help getting back in. Just quickly checking. Oh, that was my phone. Just quickly checking with Font if he needs a new invite or not. But yeah, lots of people in the pit now, and I don't think any of them are going out again. I don't know how much is left in the session, but then we have Depop. Depop is on a lap. He is being faster. 4 minutes remaining. People are going to go out again and prepare for one final lap. Depop won't though. Depop won't make that. So this is his final lap, where he plays P4 at the maximum for the Red Bull driver. As there is a Racing Bull on pit exit, that has to be Cassell. So Cassell did make it. As you can see, lots of teams out in the garage working on the cars, patting them back into the garage and preparing them for that crucial final lap. During this race, qualifying. Just check battery level. One of the Alpines is going out. We can see Chris coming across the line 5/10 faster, and he's back in P5. That was his final lap, or he will have another what's it called? Or he will have another flying lap as Sabi goes another 5/10 under his lap, but I don't know if that counted or not. Oh, Font is actually still in the quali. He just exited pit lane, so no need there. Then we have one of the Rebels coming up. That is not Jenica, that is Depop, but Depop is coming in. His qualifying is over. And we have Helenan. No, not Helenan, that's who is that? It's Cassell. Cassell is just starting a lap, pushing out now. Then we have Ben. Ben is starting a lap. Mighty is starting a lap behind him. Sabi might be on a flying lap. He was saving. I might have to invite Techi. Yeah, I may have to quickly stop this, but just because we need Techi into the game if I have him on my friends list. If I don't have him on my friend list, then so let's hope he gets in. Jenica is still on his outlap. Sabi didn't really improve, I think. Next one is Ben. Yep, next one is Ben. He is 8 seconds up. So Ben is going to pull into pit lane. Call it a day. Or he's going to push now, as Cassell is now going for his lap. We have Mighty Jump. Will he make the line? He will. Everyone after Mighty Jump will finish the lap, including Jenica, who crosses the line 2/10 faster, P2, but not enough. Sabi pulls into pit lane. One of the Alpines, it was AJ, P10, with Atmo getting P6. Then we have Font jumping up to P7. Max getting P9. Arctic has invalidated, is pulling into pit road. Does not think he, well, it doesn't matter what he thought, his lap was over. Helenan coming across the final turn to finish his lap. Going really close to track limits, goes across the line, stays third. And the only one who can still settle up is Ben. Ben is going faster than he previously was. Oh, and Cassell, of course. We'll just follow Cassell because he's in the slipstream, but he was just too close to Ben, and this ruins his lap. As yeah, the two are fighting across the line, and that's not what you want in a qualifying session. Actually, Mighty Chump is still going to finish his lap. But with those two fighting, crossing the line, it isn't enough for Cassell. Cassell is in that last qualified. Actually, not, because someone crashed without setting a lap. So, there is that. And I think because Stitchy Boom is still having problems, I think Titchy Boom is not racing in this event, which is sad. So we will have 11, 14 cars on the grid instead of 15. Just keeping an eye on it as everyone is on the grid watching the strategies. There is a maximum allow or minimum time that everyone needs to wait on the grid before they're allowed to go. So it will be another few minutes of awkward silence from me. Because yes, there was a lot to talk. Oh, apparently not. So we have everyone lining up. There were no penalties in qualifying, so we start as we finished qualifying. I have to say I'm pretty disappointed by Fonta now, but yeah, teammate bias. Rebel is looking really strong in that mid-pack fight, which is, like I said, what we will be focusing on. So, as a reminder, the midfield fight, and then I'm talking about the people who are within 20 points of each other. We have Sauber, Mercedes, Rebel, Racing Bulls, McLaren, Haas, Williams. Most of these teams have one driver in the race. Red Bull and Sauber have the advantage. They have two people. I'm just quickly going to check on tires. Almost everyone on mediums. Cassell and Smish are on the back row for hards. And then surprisingly, we have Depop in P4 on the hards, hoping that the safety car doesn't come early, as there is a big gap back there of people who are not lined up on this formation lap. I do hope they will catch up in a short amount of time so that people aren't stuck on the grid for too long. Speaking of which, we are reaching the grid lineup. Ditchy has joined, but Ditchy has joined too late. So Ditchy will not be racing. As we get a perfect lineup there. Oh, Epmo had been reset. Helena had been reset. With everyone now reset or just parked, we are waiting for the 5 red lights. We have 4, we have 5. And it's lights out. And away we go for this 5th round here in the season. Already contact between the Ferrari and the Haas. Font is already up to P4. Another little tire ban, but he's still in P4. Meanwhile, further back in the grid. Wait, what? T-Bob has really backed down. And that's not a good thing because he has hearts. He needs to make this last. AJ is being really aggressive here. He is going to lose several places. Cassell dived in the middle. He has to bail out. Gained maybe some time. He won't need to give that back. He does. Ben makes a nice dive on the inside. Gets past. AJ is past Cassell. Jenica is still within a good distance of Sabi, but Sabi is slightly pulling away, and Jenica is looking behind towards Helenan. On the struggle, that was kind of a slip from Fontenau, but nothing too severe. Helenan is almost alongside. He pulls alongside? Yeah, he pulls alongside. Now it's about who breaks later. Helenan makes a nice move around the outside. Jenica defends it, but there is nothing he can do. But Jenica doesn't give up her that easily. He is on the outside, breaks late, and outside turns into inside. He's early at the apex. They fight for space, but Helenan doesn't yield. And Helenan keeps the position. Fontenau enjoyed watching that. Max is having a slight train behind him. Epmo is getting slightly frustrated, which is a bit early to get frustrated, but I understand it. Let's just say it like that. And the first DRS zone is coming up. Sabi has just a little bit to go to open up the gap to prevent DRS to the Red Bull or the Williams. Doesn't do it. Font will not have DRS, so it's now about the top 3. My apologies. Max is really not going to enjoy this. There's there again a bit of gap to ban in P9. But let's check back up front. The DRS is helping the top 3 pull away from Fontenau. Max is put under pressure, but Epmo has to look behind him as well. As here goes Epmo, can't do anything yet. But there is another DRS zone here. Helenan goes faster. Epmo pulls alongside, makes the move, but can he make it stick? He can. He has to go defensive. What a lunge from the Alpine. The Alpine has to back off. Not too much room. There is a bit of a kerfuffle, but Max had to give up 2 positions there. He went way too late into turn 1. And that's the price you pay for that, I guess. Meanwhile, Jenica has lost DRS on Helenan. Helenan has lost DRS as well, as there is a caution. Who spun? What happened? Wait. It's Chris. Chris has spun. He got going again. Is there damage? Not that I can see. There is massive damage for Max though, no front wing. Oh, it's a virtual. I can't see, it doesn't show me that it's virtual, but I saw it on the signs. Sabi has gotten a penalty somehow. I kind of want to see what penalty. It's just a normal 3-second penalty, so nothing to worry about yet. but you don't want that easy in the race. But something must have happened between Max and Chris really needs to hope for a safety car somewhere this race so he can catch back up again. DRS has been enabled again as we get racing again. Again, Sabi needs to push a bit with the penalty that he has. Helenen is a bit under pressure. Arctic. Did Arctic also have damage? Oh yeah, Arctic also lost his entire front wing. Which is not ideal, obviously. He exits the pit lane. So does AJ or Max. And they're both still fairly ahead of Chris. Meanwhile, Smith makes up a place on Ben. Ben is still trying to find his rhythm, I think, in this. As AJ is looking behind him to snatch up P9. Behind them, Mighty Chump wants to try get some points for Sauber as well. As Ben gets the DRS off Shiz. Does he make anything of it? Not really. Remember, these are two rookies, only having a few races under their belts in Aero in general. So to see these two rookies fighting hard with each other, it's really nice to see. As they are both making up a bit of time to Cassell in front of them as well. Mighty Chump is gaining on AJ a bit as we look a bit further up. Where are the battles? The battles are literally what we were just watching. This train of 4 cars trying to fight for position. But the dirty egg can really hurt you. Font knows that P4 is enough, so he's not taking any risks. Probably conserving the tires as well. Because you do want a tire offset for as best as you can get it. As Ben has lost the Aston Martin ahead, he's just fully focused on defending, which he honestly should do. He was the only one of them saving battery, he still is. AJ goes for a move, makes it stick. But did he do that on a good place? No, I think he is now losing the DRS. Ben is going to have the DRS on this straight. And with the saved energy, he can just make the move again. What a good tactical decision from Ben there. AJ will try to get a good exit, kind of gets it. Gets out before the DRS zone. And Ben dives into the pit lane. Is there a wing change? No, this is a genuine pit stop. Is he going for the 2-stop? So short stint on mediums, longer stint on hard, and closing on mediums again. As Max has overtaken Arctic, but I don't know if that was a legal move. But yeah, the strategy of Ben is kind of confusing me. He had no damage, he just decided to pit. Let's see what else. Yeah, Helenen has closed up to Sabi. Sabi not really under pressure from the penalty, but it's definitely in the back of his mind as Depop has overtaken Epmo. as Edmo. Oh! Looks like the front wing is okay, but the rear of the car may not be okay. And that means a bit of suffering for Edmo after a tank slapper. But going back to Helenen has closed up again to Sabi. Sabi is now pushing a bit again. Janica has lost contact with them, but is still looking really solid. And Font is still taking it easy. Helenen has closed up even more, and they're just about to reach the DRS detection point. If Helenen can stay inside the DRS range, he cannot, and there's the detection point. Helenen will not have DRS by 0.002 of a second, which is perfectly timed by Sabi. Can he time that again with this DRS detection point? I don't think so. This time the front wing still stays closed. But Helenen has closed up several tenths with the use of ERS, so he is going to have DRS down this straight. Trying to pressure Sabi for the lead. Janica is of course taking it calm. We're looking back. Castell has overtaken Smish. AJ got 3 seconds, Max got 3 seconds. So small mistakes, but track limits, they happen on this track. Helenen is back outside the DRS range. These two are playing a cat and mouse game between the two of them. And it's both about trying to stay with, for Helenen it's stay with Sabi and not ruin the tires. And for Sabi it's try to not give Helenen any advantage. And obviously save the tires. Because best Sabi can do is go long, get a late tire offset and use that to push further. So we have another yellow flag. I think that is Arctic again. Is there damage? There is damage to the front wing. This might be a second pit stop incoming for Arctic. And it may even get to a DNF. Of course we hope not, as Helenen is getting really close here to Sabi. If Helenen can just keep like this until the end of the race, he still gets the win, courtesy of the penalty. But he needs to keep it clean and close. How's Cassell looking? Cassell is slightly closing in on Edmo. Edmo obviously had that one collision with the wall, which may or may not have affected his rear. For now, everything looks good for Edmo, but he is losing time to Cassell behind. But that may just be the hards falling, or the mediums falling off and the hards gaining advantage. As Arctic is in for a set of softs. So Arctic is going for a very, very short stint on the softest tire compound. As Helenen has dropped off severely. Was there contact with Helenen, as Janica is now very close to Helenen again, and this is exactly what Sabi needed, some breathing space to look after the tires, because they are 9 laps old. And they may start to fall off now a bit, so any conserving you can do at this stage is going to help you way later down the line when the pit stop comes. And if you can pit a bit later and still stay in a good position, then that helps massively. Depop is now gaining as well because of this tire offset that he has now. Let's see what else is close. Chris is close on Max. It's clearly showing who is the more experienced driver and who is still kind of a rookie. Chris obviously has raced many seasons in F1. Max, this is his first time as a full-time driver, so there is a bit of a lack of experience, but it's just beautiful to see the rookies go. And yeah, just like you see in real life, the rookies just learning in between the pros and trying to take any bit of information. As we have the first real pit stops, we have Edmo, Helenen, Sabi. Sabi is already out of the pit lane. Helenen now goes, and Edmo just put into pit lane. Look if everything all goes alright. Everything looks smooth. AJ got past. Mish got past. But yeah, they obviously still need to make the stop, so no big deal there. Ben obviously already made his stop. He's continuing on. Chris got past Max. Max is once again the Fane late locking up, stays on track and makes the defense stick. There is nothing for Chris to go, but back behind the Alpine. This is some beautiful racing from both of these drivers. And that defensive move really took Chris aback, because Max is now pulling slight gap. He had a bad exit and the gap is closing again. So Chris gets another chance to take it up with Max. We now have Janica in the pits, Fontar now in the pits. Depop obviously continues on. Gasol goes on. Sabi goes through. There's Helenen. Font is really close to Janica. Schmish set the fastest lap, but still gets out behind Font. But that just shows how well the hearts are working. And Font and Janica have a slight tire offset, but it won't be really major or really really helpful. There's Arctic on the softs. As Ben now gets a penalty, but that doesn't matter because the people around him also have penalties. Or at least the people behind him. The only problem with Ben is Ben will need to make another stop. Or he's going to stretch those hearts out really, really far. As Font does have DRS on Janica. And he will be looking to make this pass. Because even though Ferrari is looking good in the drivers and constructors, every point Font can get from this is another point. As is Arctic once again in the wall. I think he was no damage this time. Janica has the DRS to get back at Font. Font is deploying energy. Behind him, Smish is also there. Arctic now gets 3-second penalty. Font is struggling a bit with the rear. I think he hasn't warmed up the tires good enough, and that's another crash from Arctic. And that just sees Arctic done as... Where did he crash? Did he crash in a bad place? No, he just retired on his own. And Sabi has overtaken Depop. Depop is yet to pit. Cassell is under pressure from Helena. And this will only serve to help Sabi win this race in a pretty dominant fashion. If he doesn't make a mistake and nothing happens. I genuinely do not see Helena close up to Sabi, realistically. Though the gap is only 2 seconds as Depop now heads into the pit. So does Cassell. Oh, and Depop gets held a little bit in the pit lane. There is Depop, there goes Cassell. Out on fresh mediums, but yeah. The gap is now 6 seconds between Helena and Sabi, and yeah, that's just a deal maker. Fontanau has got a pretty good gap to Jenica. Smish in P5, but I don't think he will take those mediums to the end. So Font is looking pretty good for P3. So my prediction was kind of correct. Font and Helena should have been switched, but yeah, it's a disaster for McLaren. One driver couldn't start, let's call it a mechanical failure, which technically is correct. Mighty Chump gets a penalty as he is under pressure from the Alpine of Max. Now, Max on those hard tires is really doing well. Despite making that early pit stop, he is doing really good for a rookie. Chris is still fighting him, and with no big luck. This is a battle that won't be for points, but it is good experience for the rookie. Chris does not have DRS, but he will have next straight. Any other close gap? You have Abmo Depop and you have Smish on Jenica, as Smish did go off track and loses that gap he had. And that's that battle over. Gap between Helena and Sabi is now 8 seconds, so Sabi shouldn't have anything to worry about. Cruise to the line and take victory today. Don't think we ever heard the South African national anthem on in Formula One, so that's an interesting one to get when Sabi wins the race. Jenica 2 seconds. There's a slight gap here, not too much. AJ gets past Ben. But Ben shoots wide, comes back on circuit and has lost that gap. But once again, Ben is still a rookie, so there's nothing wrong with making a mistake when it's your first season and still your first couple of races. So Mistakes may be made, and he is going to learn from this experience. And he will still drag a point home. That's also kind of a big deal. To score points in your first season. He has obviously already done it. He is P9 in Spain. Was PA picking up penalties as Janica track extended a bit, slowed down enough to not get anything from it, or at least not a direct penalty. And he has lost even more ground to Fontenau. So Fontenau is gaining on Helenen. He doesn't need to beat him, but I understand why Font wants to. Every point in the championship is still a point, so. As Smish now goes into the pit lane for the second time. I think Smish is literally the only one who genuinely planned for a two-stop. Because, yeah, of course, Chris will make another pit stop and Ben will make another pit stop, but those were unplanned. They were forced into that because damage. But this was the plan for Smish at the start. And yeah, I think it was a solid gamble. Speaking about him, Ben now exits the pit lane. For softs, he's going to try 8 laps of softs. What is Chris' plan looking like? Those are a set of mediums waiting for him. Yes, it is. So the Aston Martin team had to make 2 pit stops in one go. They can do that. AJ is coming up behind Chris. Can he close up? Not enough, but with the new tires, probably not still. Sabi is just about to lap these two, so props on them on staying out of trouble, not getting lapped until now. I would have been 3 laps down at this point. So, what has happened here? So, Helenen must have some type of damage or something. Because he lost 3 seconds to Font in the span of 2 laps. So he must have made a mistake or something. And because Font has backed up, Janica is now also in attacking range. So Font needs to make this overtake as soon as possible. Get a car in between himself and Janica and hope that the Williams can defend against the Red Bull. But what is this problem that Helenen is having? Is it just a mistake? Is it damage? I have no idea. Font was looking for it there, but that's not a good place. His best bet is down this straight here. The DRS opens for him. Does he pull alongside or does he wait? That was a bit late of defensive from Helenen, but it's all fair. And yeah, Helenen can do nothing here. He's going to lose 2 positions. That's position 1, but he defends Janica. Brakes late. Janica goes off track. Helenen stays in 2nd or 3rd. Smash goes even faster. So that was quite nice to see. And Font is already pulling a gap. So that was a crucial move to make from Fontenau. To get that advantage and well, basically beat his championship rival. The gap is 17 seconds. Wow. That is quite something. Now it's the question, will Janica be able to keep up? Yeah, he will. He will definitely. Quite a late move there from the Red Bull. Now, obviously, I have been talking about Ben being new and Max being new, to an extent AJ being new. Janica hasn't been racing himself for that long. I think a season max. Same goes actually for T-Bob. So it's a good even spread field between rookies and experienced drivers. Well, not even rookies. Oh, Font goes massively off. That was a massive mistake. Gasol gets a penalty. Depop is actually catching up to this. So Janica fighting that hard with Helenan is actually helping his teammates, which is amazing to see. Hi, Ryan. But yeah, as I was saying, there's well, not even split, but for all intents and purposes in this race, this even split of pros and rookies, or not rookies, amateurs, not meant in a bad way. It's beautiful to see because the more experienced drivers will show their skills and the rookies will copy what the pros are doing and combine it with their own driving style. As that is a very late move from Janica. Again, this time he loses the back end a bit more. He can't really keep doing that, but that's the thing. He has to learn that. And this aggressive driving style must be refreshing for the likes of Font and Helenan, who obviously, Font and Helenan specifically, have raced each other in a lot of races. So they both know what each of them is going to do. Neither of them is expecting Janica to just keep sending it again and again. And that force of fresh perspective is keeping the more experienced drivers on their toes as well. So they not only need to keep in mind how they all are racing with each other, they need to keep in mind, I have no clue when this guy is going to kill me. To an extent. Of course, Janica doesn't want to kill them, as... Oh my. Janica tried to let T-Bob by, I think. And he did it in a way that destroyed his own race. He is having to pit for that front rein. He doesn't. There's 3 laps left. Okay, he has P7 at least. Atmo is not catching up that far. Not with the damaged win as well. Is he actually damaged? Yeah, he's missing an end plate. So Janica, even with the damage, will get P7 min. That's not what I was talking about. Just the dynamic of rookie and pros. And how amazing it is to see as Cassell now gets past. Janica let him by. Got a time penalty for it. Not the smartest thing to do, but who am I to talk? But yeah, this is the best thing about racing. Old guard and new guard having to give each other fresh perspectives. And it's just lovely to see, as that's pretty close from both of them. Font stays in front, and Helenen can use this to run away a bit, though with the DRS I doubt he actually will run away. But this has now invited Cassell to join. Cassell, another experienced driver. And T-Bob, for someone who's only raced a season and a half at this point, is really holding his own in between these pros. Because I think Fontenau raced season 7, Helenen raced before me, so that has to be season 5. Cassell, I think, came in season 8? I don't know. And then you have T-Bob, who came in season 16? And yes, he has let Cassell by, but he has proven his point. Fontenau is now back to fighting Helenen. Obviously, the guys on the mediums behind Cassell and T-Bob are going to push hard. And Font doesn't even have to fight this so hard. Yes, he has the championship lead over Helenen, and Helenen is his main rival. But it's not that necessary. He has a good gap in the championship. Now, for Red Bull specifically, and also Racing Bulls actually, they are fighting in the championship fights. As Smash is going to make an overtake. This is also huge for Aston Martin, because they only have 8 points. And this will, wait, will this unironically double the points tally? Hold on. 1 point for 10th, 2 for 9th, 4 for 8th. Yeah, this will double the points tally if Smash gets 8 points. So that does mean that Aston Martin will jump, well, they won't jump anyone. But it will help them in the standings, as I think the final lap has just... No, that was... I was looking at the wrong car there. Yeah, there is Chris. And Chris may actually make it to the final lap, which is starting right now. Sabi is starting lap 25 out of 25. But this is the battle we are looking at, which will go on for another full lap. As T-Pop, who has led Cassell by previously, is now fighting pretty hard. Fonten now blocked really nicely. T-Pop almost flipped, and I think that Smash... Oh, Smash. Janica also nearly loses it. Cassell is out. What has happened to Cassell? He is in the pit lane. And Helenen has spun. What has happened? Fontenau has a 3-second time penalty, but that doesn't matter. That just confirms his podium. I have no idea what has happened there, but... that looked like a leave. Was it a disconnect on the final lap? Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. Chris gets to start his final lap. But there is Sabi taking the victory in Saudi Arabia for the Sauber F1 team. Fontenau will cross the line in second, but will drop to third. Not that that matters too much. AJ Max takes 12th, Ben takes 13th. After some weird strategy choices, but that doesn't matter. Fontenau extends his championship lead, gets third. As Depop, like I said, quite a rookie, takes second. Smish earns it. No one expected this. Smish get fourth on his debut race for Aston Martin. Takes home a good amount of points. Helena P5, Janica P6 with half a front win. Edmo P7. AJ is now crawling across the line. Going to get P8, not a bad result at all. Then we have Mighty Jump. Will also take back some points home for Sauber. For P9. So there he goes. And then we have Chris, of course, getting 1 point extra in for Aston Martin. But yeah, that was a very, very eventful race with a very weird last lap. I don't know what happened with Helenen and Cassell there. I don't know if Font was involved in that or anything. We have Fontenau on the podium there. We have Depop next to him, and the winner is Sabi. So I got first and third right. I probably would have gotten second right as well, but something happened there. It was a very eventful race. Congratulations to the top three. Oh my god. Oh, so Cassell was so hoping for safety car that he underviewed the car, and what happened on that final lap was that he ran out of fuel. So there was no big incident. Cassell ran out of fuel. Just quickly, sending congratulations to the winners. It was a very eventful race. Last lap didn't happen as I was expecting. But if this is anything to show, is that even though this is the slower tier, the fighting is just as intense. The commentary in tier 1 is probably better because it's Pyro that does it, but I'm here for tier 2. And I'm proud to be part of tier 2 and this journey that these drivers are making with each other and the harsh fights. And I may as well add, it was very, very clean, which I did not expect on Saudi. Hell, Cassell wasn't expecting it because he wanted the safety car. He counted on the safety car that they could come. So, huge shout out to Tier 2 for driving like this. Huge shout out for everyone for watching. And I will see everyone next week for round 6 at the Shanghai International Racing Circuit in China.